Hey guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. If you like this video, let me know because I can do more of these because hey, just so happens I've made more than 5 mistakes in this game, but today I'm going to talk about 5 mistakes that I made in Raid Shadow Legends. Now I watched a few other YouTube videos about like common mistakes, and I'm going to go like a little bit deeper and a little bit more nuanced in the mistakes that I made because, you know, you guys pretty much know at this point that like, you know, upgrading artifacts that are flat stats versus percentages is just a very common mistake, and I feel like you guys, you know the very most basic of mistakes. If you don't, let me know and I can do like 5 beginner mistakes. Happy to do that as well. But this is a little bit more, it's still kind of beginner, but it's beginner slash intermediate. You know, people who have been playing for like a month or two still make these mistakes. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it with mistake number 1. And that is misgearing my champions. Basically just, okay, I have Nethril selected here. So Nethril is an attack-based champion, right? And back in the day, all like of 3 months ago, what I used to do is I noticed an attack-based champion, Nethril, definitely want to upgrade him, right? Awesome champion. So what I would do is just look at what he was. He's an attack-based champion. Okay, he's going to be a damage dealer. So that means I just want to put all damage gear on him, right? And that is a big and very common mistake, I feel like. If you look at my Nethril here, you know, I would, back in the day, like when I was making the mistake, I would put all like crit rate or whatever on his gauntlets, like crit rate, crit damage, whatever, or attack. And then I would go attack percentage on his chest, and then I would go attack percentage again on his boots, right? And you can see here, I have HP, I have defense, and I have speed. Now, ideally, I would have attack as kind of a substat, not so, yeah, like on these gauntlets, for example. So I have HP, and I have defense, and that's for sustainability, right? Your champions can't do any damage if they're dead. Now, there are times where you just want to maximize your attack. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes on a nuker team for the arena, you just all you got to do is in one turn kill the whole enemy team. So speed is crucial and attack is crucial. But for dungeons, you need to keep these guys alive too. So if you're dying in dungeons a lot, or if you're failing, especially in like Dragon's Lair, Spider's Den, Fire Knight, etc., Ice Golem, what you're probably doing is you're not building enough HP or defense onto your champions. So even if they're an attack, a DPS dealer, you have to give them some defense and some HP. Now, you don't have to go both pieces of gear. Crit rate is usually preferable on your gauntlets, but Nethril, it's all about the poisons, so I don't need him to have a huge high crit rate. I just want to get those poisons up and keep him alive as long as possible. So I would just go like a defense or an HP chest if you're having problems dying. You know, again, you can't do damage when you're not alive, right? So misgearing my champions, right? Some of them are really obvious. Some champions that have an attack that scales off of their HP or defense, it's pretty simple. You build them up with a lot of HP and defense, but I feel like a lot of players equip their damage dealers with just too much attack-based stats. And, you know, I don't know, 80% of the time, unless you want your champion to be going last out of your whole team, you want to have speed boots. You want to really make sure you have speed boots on a lot of these champions, because think about it. It doesn't matter if I'm dealing, you know, just for sake of numbers, if I'm dealing 100 damage per turn or whatever, 10,000 damage per turn, it doesn't really matter if I'm not taking turns that frequently because I'm so slow, right? So it's a definite delicate balance between speed and your overall attack. If you're attacking more, then you're going to be doing more damage. Who cares how hard you're hitting as long as you're doing more overall damage? So that was my first mistake. It's just kind of misgearing my damage dealers with too much attack and not paying attention to the other stats to make sure they stay alive and they're moving fast enough to get as many turns and as many attacks in as possible. So the next mistake is in Arena. This is kind of a real, I don't know, a nuanced mistake I was making. But in Arena, what I did for a long time is I would go into the arena, I would go to a team, okay, let's pick this team for example, and I would look at the team and I wouldn't even know what half these champions do, right? So I don't know, for example, I do know what Sylar does, but let's just pretend I didn't know what Lysandra did, right? I happen to know on this team, but I wouldn't even pay attention. I would just play anyway and not care, right? But I mean, that's really dumb. Even if you're just farming Arena and you really don't care that much, you should at the very least get a familiarity with these champions, who is good and what they do, because eventually you're going to either pull these champions, have no clue what to do, or, you're just not going to have any. I mean, Arena is a great way to learn the game. And I recommend all of you guys don't go on auto unless you're just brainlessly farming Arena tokens or trophies or whatever they're called. I would really recommend you guys go ahead and learn and click. If you don't know what a champion does that you're facing in the arena, click on them. Look at their skills, look at their kit. It takes about 20 seconds to learn a champion and have a pretty good feel for your tactics going inside the arena. That's part of the fun of this game, is learning all the champions and what they do. And maybe that means making a substitution on your arena team. Don't be afraid to make substitutions as well. For me, I love arena. It's my favorite part of the game. And another kind of piggyback onto this mistake about arena is I didn't play enough arena early on, right? I thought that, hey, I'm not max, I'm not even close, I don't have any max champions, whatever, so I'm not even going to bother with arena. But arena is one of the best ways to upgrade your overall, all of your champions at the same time in the Great Hall. And that leads me to my next point. The Great Hall. The Great Hall, I really made a lot of mistakes on. And if you guys saw my video with Hell Hades, you'll realize that he tore me apart for my Great Hall development. Now, I already knew I had made a lot of mistakes because I think I did what a lot of players do at first. And I went into the attack tree and I went hard into it. Okay, not too hard, but I went, 4 and 4 on my magic and my spirit affinities, and I went 3 on my void affinity, where attack is the worst thing to upgrade, attack percentage in the Great Hall. It should be the last that you do. You definitely want to start with accuracy. So obviously, as time progressed, I kind of, I was keen on what I should be focusing on. Accuracy and resist scale incredibly well. I would recommend going accuracy and then going defense. So accuracy, defense, resist, and crit damage depending on what you're doing. Resist is better for arena, generally speaking. Crit damage is better for like dungeons and such. So, I mean, I have no problem which order you guys go in, but I would focus on accuracy, maybe then crit damage or defense or resist. Then I would focus on HP and attack last. Now, with all that said, a lot of players, because it's so cheap to get the first couple upgrades on any one area, it's 13 gold arena tokens or whatever here for an attack bonus. Like, a lot of players have the philosophy of, you know what, I'm just going to put like 2 or 3 levels into every single stat on my entire Great Hall. That's a viable strategy as well, because you keep the cost minimal, and then at the same time, you get a bunch of upgrades across the board. Keep in mind that the Great Hall upgrades affect all your champions, or all your champions of every affinity, depending on where you have the upgrades, obviously, in every single area of the game. That's incredibly huge. That's why you should play Arena. So the third mistake, again, is just misallocating your Great Hall upgrades. So Great Hall definitely, it's incredible, right? The Great Hall, it affects your dungeon, affects your arena, affects your clan boss. Everything that you want in this game will be affected by the Great Hall. So definitely do not ignore the arena. Use your 10 battles when you, or use all your tokens when you have them, and try not to let it sit on 10 forever at a time. Okay, so next up we have upgrading champions just due to their rarity. This is a big one too, right? You pull your first legendary or your 10th legendary, doesn't really matter. But when you upgrade a champion just because they're legendary, let me give you a good example here. I think this is the only guy that I really put a lot into, and it's I don't even know how to, Inthui Blood Twin. So he's not as good as his brother, right? And he's just not an incredible champ. He's all right, but I didn't need him. I have plenty of champions who do better in terms of single target damage, defense ignorers, and I put like a decent amount of time and resources and energy just because, I was so excited. This is one of the rarest guys to pull. He is a void legendary champion. And I was like, dude, I just have to upgrade him. I just have to. Even though to allocate my resources to dozens of epics would have been way better. In fact, even allocating my resources to rares, I have plenty of people that Cold Hearts I have, and I have I don't know. I think I have a couple other rares that I could upgrade in place of him, but yet I wasted my resources on upgrading him, and guess what? I've really never used him. So just kind of food for thought, guys, is, yeah, generally speaking, the rarity does scale pretty well in this game in terms of how good a champion is, but definitely do not overlook really solid rare or epic champions, especially just to upgrade a legendary who's not that good. If you don't know if a legendary is good or not, go ahead and just Google search the champion, and you can find tons of articles out there or tons of YouTube videos who do a really honest review on a lot of these champions out there. So, you know, again, rarity is important, but don't just upgrade haphazardly just because it is a higher rarity champion. And then the last piece of advice for today's video that I have, the last mistake that I made, was another one that I just didn't pay enough attention to, and that was Faction Wars. Faction Wars. I kind of knew that Faction Wars early on was like an end game update patch in this game for end game players, and I kind of always just ignored it totally and never paid any attention to Faction Wars. So the first couple months I was even playing the game, I don't think I played one Faction War. But you know what? There's a real strong case to be made to playing Faction Wars immediately. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from, let's go to Dark Elf Crypt here. There's nothing stopping you guys from going ahead all the way to stage 1. I mean, you have 12, if you guys don't know how it works, just really quickly, you have 12 keys per day. If you lose, it does not cost a key. So you can just keep going until, if you never win, you can just keep going and try to fine tune your comp so you can find a composition of champions who can win, providing you have them of that faction, right? So if you have champions, and it alternates every day between factions. So if you have the keys automatically, you just get them every day, right? So use them. If you can get even one glyph, or if you can get, you know, if you can get 12 glyphs by using the one key a day, it's going to help you. Those glyphs can be used immediately to upgrade all of your artifacts on your best teams. And I'll tell you what, even if you're using 1-star glyphs onto your gear to enhance them, it's going to make a pretty big overall impact on your entire team. If you have 5 clan boss champions and you're going to equip them all with all the glyphs that you get in just a week's time of clearing stage 1 in the faction crypts, go ahead and do it. It's going to make a significant difference in the overall power of your team. So I would definitely not ignore faction crypts. Of course, I'm telling you guys not to ignore basically anything in the game, but you know, the fact of the matter is time is a limitation. Time is a finite resource. But at the same time, I found Faction Wars to be a really good use of your time, even if you can't get to the mid or the end game in Faction Wars. Faction Wars are really, really difficult when you get, you know, let's see how far I am on High Elf here. You see, I think I only have, my highest is stage 19, and I forgot, I think it's Ogryn Tribe. But you're not going to kill it in every single faction. But at the same time, as some factions, I only have like stage 5 cleared. But it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it's all about just getting glyphs on all of your artifacts, and then you can, as you upgrade your champions, as you upgrade your artifacts, you're going to be in, as you unlock new champions, you're going to be way better poised to progress in Faction Wars and get better glyphs, and then go ahead and upgrade your gear from there. So guys, those are my 5 mistakes. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that at least one of these tips kind of helped you guys out. Let me know if you agree with my advice, A, and if you've made any of the mistakes that I have made, in B, and C, if you want to see another video with more mistakes that I've made, because like I said, I have plenty to choose from, guys. So thank you so much for watching. As always, I really appreciate it, guys. Subscribe if you like the content. I'll have, you know, at least every other day, or trying to get daily content out here on this channel. Thank you again, and as always, take care, guys.